Hey, Drew, you killed this shit.
Welcome back, everybody. We here in the four corners of wrestling. I am your host, Marshall, Mr. Soulman Simmons. And before we get started, this is a 613 Faye production. Let's go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this video, and we appreciate you. I want to get started by saying what's up to my guys out there, Quabo, Jay, Will, Colin from DC. What's up, fellas?
What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
Quabo. There you go. I wait for that. There you go. What's happening, fellas? How y'all feeling, man? We got some snow this week, first week of February. It's officially Black History Month, even though we take over the whole year, but it's Black History Month. We got snow this week. How y'all feeling about all that, man?
I loved it.
Man, having the snow on Sunday was beautiful, man. I loved it. Best way to enjoy Sunday.
Got a chance to got a chance to take my little boy outside and play in the snow, and he loved it. He was running around and rolling in it. It was great.
My man. That's what I'm talking about. Have a couple of snowball fights, you know what I'm saying? Get it in, baby. But we about to get started. Like I said, it's Black History Month, February. And we're going to highlight some superstars. You know what I'm saying? So today, this being an old school show, we're going to take it back. And we're going to start it off with somebody I call Uncle Ron. Ron Simmons, Farouk, had a great career. You know what I'm saying? You know him now. You just come out and say, damn. How you come out and get a paycheck for just saying, damn? I want something like that. You know what I'm saying? But we sat back and we watched what the Ron Simmons versus Vader match, y'all, which was a good match.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh man, it was fantastic.
Good match.
Oh, it was a good one.
Highway. Yeah. How you felt about that, Colin?
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
Seriously,
man.
great.
Yeah, man. Took place right up the road in Baltimore, August 2nd, 1992. You had two All-Americans, Vader being an All-American offensive, Simmons being a three-time All-American defense. Florida State versus Colorado. And this was the night that Uncle Ron became the first African-American to win the WCW title, heavyweight championship. You know what I'm saying? It was crucial, man. Like, I got chills when I saw that pop, y'all. So I want y'all thoughts on it, because like I said, I can't even talk straight because I still get excited just like his reaction, and the crowd was in it. Like, people came from the back, and the only thing was missing was them hoisting them up on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing was missing, man. Like, you could just tell it was a big emotional moment for him. And what do y'all think? You know, so I want to start with Colin from DC.
I mean, that match was great. I mean, Marshall, to your point, how you got chills. Yeah, I got chills. Everything about it was just magical. I mean, you had JR out there. He was full on JR mode. Everything was just emotional. Vader's offense was just nasty and brutal, and he was every bit the dominating monster that he is. And then, you know, you'd have Ron Simmons out there, and he'd give like a little spark of offense, a quick little comeback, and Vader would be like right there to cut his ass off. It was just crazy to watch. The crazy thing is, I never knew about this. I never knew I take that back. I never knew that Ron Simmons was a world champion, let alone WCW world champion, up until maybe around like 2004, 2005. When way after he had already won the title. But it was, you know, funny enough, it was during WWE's, you know, Black History Month montages. You know, it popped up, and I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing, you know, Simmons hitting the power slam, and people are going crazy, and I'm like, I'm baffled. I'm like confused. I'm like, wait a minute, he was the Ron Simmons for Farouk? Damn, from the APA, you know, from the nation. He was a world champion. He was the first, you know, Black wrestling champion. it was amazing. I just was stuck. Shout out to WWE, because again, I would not have personally known anything about that. I was watching WCW back then, in 1992. But it was just crazy it was just crazy seeing it. Funny enough, the whole thing the funny thing was I saw it around 2004, and that was like right before Booker T was going to be fighting Triple H for the title at WrestleMania 19. And funny enough, it's a very interesting how the parallel was, because there was a lot of little racial undertones, obviously with the Booker T and Triple H match, but there was a lot of like little racial undertones going in to that Ron Simmons Vader match. I don't know if you guys remember, but basically Harley Race basically told Ron Simmons to, why don't you go get my bags? You're going to be my errand boy. Why don't you go drive my car for me? So that's how this all kind of originally popped off. So it's very fascinating that, I guess circle of life, that the first time I ever noticed something like that was when Booker T was going to be fighting Triple H, and Triple H damn near said the exact same thing to Booker T. And obviously 12 years earlier on, Vader's manager, Harley Race, was saying the same thing to Ron Simmons. But I mean, if you get to the match was, like I said, was amazing. The crowd was into it. Ron Simmons hitting that power slam, and that dude, I don't know if you guys paid attention, but there's this dude who Ron Simmons gets him in the power slam. Goes to like hoist him up for the power slam. This dude in the third or fourth row in the baby blue, he immediately jumps out of his seat and he runs. He runs down to the front row, and he's jumping up and down even before the ref hits the 3 count. And that goes to show like how much it meant. You know what I'm saying? Me watching it in 2004, hell, me watching it just the other day gave me chills. And I can't even imagine how much it meant as a Black person to be sitting there and witnessing history and seeing somebody that looks just like you become the world champion in a sport that you love. Can't there's not enough words to describe it.
Okay. Jay Will, Landover by way of Flair Country. What you think about Ron Simmons Vader match and how everything went down?
Speaking on what Colin said, we have to understand, like, WCW, very well famous for its southern territories. They come up to Baltimore for this show. Mind you, it really wasn't even like a pay-per-view-esque show. It was a show. And we got to see Ron Simmons take the spot that was originally set for Sting to go into this match. And Ron goes into this match and he beats Big Vader. Mind you, we're not talking the Vader that most of us are used to from the WWF days. Vader was in great shape for himself. I mean, he was a big guy, but he wasn't like he didn't have the belly like we're used to. Tough guy. And watching that match was amazing. In a storytelling perspective, there was high moments where Ron was really putting foot to ass out there. I mean, he was going for some very big slams. He was going for some very good clotheslines in that match. And shout out to Vader with this match. Great storytelling on his behalf in this match, because there was moments where it was just he was dominating, but Ron Simmons able to just kick out after being slammed, and Vader again using his size to his advantage. Another example of how just because you're a big guy, you still have to know how to use your size to your advantage to tell a great story. Just awesome storytelling from this match. And there's just moments where Ron Simmons, he does a big move and then he's excited for himself. You see him hyping himself up like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I got this match. And it's amazing to think about that this was not a match that was originally planned. Then he goes to Baltimore and he beats Vader. And it's a moment that like anybody can be proud of, because it was, again, a true underdog story. Like the dude that you least expected to win this match. And as you see him go for that final power slam, mind you, this is just a move now by today's standards, is just a regular throwaway move that you have in a match. And this was the finisher of the match. And let me tell you, it was a moment with the build up towards it where you didn't need such a huge finisher, where it was just like, this is it, this is that moment, and you're all still just equally surprised and excited. And to see Ron's face and his mannerisms, he drops to his knees, he's clenching his fists, and he's just like, yes, I did this. And everyone from backstage coming out celebrating with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a historic moment at this point. Like Colin said, for me, it was a match that I did not realize until much later into my life. At the time, I was 5 years old when this match happened,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 4 years old when this match happened. So I had no clue of this until I saw it on the WWE. They had their Black History Month montage, and
Mm-hmm.
it heartwarming. Brought a tear to my eye as a black man. You know, it's um, inspiring moment. A strong appreciation for Ron Simmons in this match. Like I've appreciated him a lot in his days in the WWF as Farouk, but
Mm-hmm.
this match for real for me cemented my true appreciation for him as a wrestler altogether.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Like I was just ecstatic. You know what I mean? Like to see that and to see, saying, somebody that's like me do that. And like you and Colin said, you know what I mean? I was shocked when I found that out. You know what I mean? Because I'm just thinking about, okay, the ABA and damn and the nation. And it's like, hold up. He was world champ. And then he beat Vader. You know what I'm saying? Even though his reign wasn't that long, I think it was only like 4 or 5 months. It was just a simple fact that they put the belt on him when a time when everybody was like, oh, a black man can't be champ. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
there was a lot of, talk that, oh, the business is racist and they're not going to do this and they're not going to do that. So they kind of broke the barrier when they did that. And you're saying that they replaced Sting, who was a prominent name, a headliner,
Mm-hmm.
one of the main faces out there. And for Sting to step back to give that opportunity, you know what I'm saying? It says a lot about Sting, you know what I'm saying? So Ron Simmons becoming the first world champion, very iconic. It should be celebrated. One of the top things up there, and he should be mentioned a lot more. I think he's very under appreciated and should be appreciated a lot more.
Absolutely. Especially, I say this in like for a guy like me who grew up originally introduced to him as Farouk. My first experiences of seeing him was when he had his feud with Ahmed Johnson for a while. Then he had his feud with The Rock when the whole coup of the nation, and that's how I seen him. And then APA was like the most memorable thing for him. But
Mm-hmm.
then to see him as Ron Simmons, the wrestler, and not Farouk, the purple tights, and he still kept the
Mm-hmm.
bands on his biceps, which was a good look. It just showed off the
Mm-hmm.
physique of him. But to see that match, and I had to go back and watch some more matches of him as Ron Simmons to be like, damn, this guy was fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Underappreciated, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, it speaks on him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Quavo, want to get your thoughts on the matter. What did you think about the Ron Simmons versus Vader match?
Oh, hey. Yeah, that's
Wake up,
right.
man.
Been watching this match over and over and over again, and it's just like, it kind of makes you stop and pause and enjoy wrestling for the real essence of wrestling. The cool thing is that you have two linebackers, okay, going against each other. So
Mm-hmm.
physicality is definitely there. Star quality, it's there. Especially when you see Ron being taunted by Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Ron's reaction to that, but then you also have him like, okay, well, you know what? You want to play? I'm here to play. I'm taking
Mm-hmm.
that belt now. Play with me like
Mm-hmm.
that. And so you seeing the way that he really creates and paints a beautiful picture, a beautiful story with this feud, and then you also have the belt on the line. I think it's one of those moments that it couldn't have been more critical. And I know that he does an interview on Legends with JBL. I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
first time I heard about him actually winning the belt, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know he was a champ like that. Like, damn, I only knew him from the APA, because that's where the more the foundation. of what wrestling was to me, and that's when I first got exposed to it. But around the time where I was like 5 years old, this match is going on. And the cool thing is that even Ron says it in his interview, he had no idea he was going to win that night. Like he was just
Mhm.
as shocked as everyone else. And he didn't know that he would be making history because only in March he was fighting Vinny Vegas, right? So
Mhm.
now he's fighting Vader, titles on the line. Ron is holding his own. He's lifting big ass Vader. He's
Mhm.
doing these incredible reversals. I mean, and he's looking like unbelievably awesome. Like, especially when you
Mhm.
see him like reverse that suplex and like really lift Vader. Um, and most
Come on,
people
man. You
they would
got a
just,
three-time
oh,
All-American out there, man.
oh,
What you
he was
expect?
he was ready to sell it good too. And he was really ready to sell it good too. So, it'd be something if you just saw him pop up,
Mhm.
but you can even see that he sold that so well that he made it look hard to lift big ass Vader. You see him
Mhm.
taking those clubs by Vader, and that's another thing. Like, come on now, Ron did so well, but then getting that clean finish and having a Vader have that look like, wait, what just happened? Hold up, did I really just lose? Like hands up, like wait, hold up, wait, and seeing that, it's one of those moments that you really see that Ron earned the belt. it
Mhm.
wasn't it wasn't something that was just like hand given to him. Like he earned that belt. That match
Mhm.
was by far one of the best matches I've seen, and revisiting it again, I'm like, oh snap! Like I saw this when I was 5. I don't remember this crap like that. I'm old now.
Mhm. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm
Like I
glad.
forget more than I remember, man.
I know. But that's why I'm so glad we have old school episodes like this, so the fans can like hear about
Right.
really good matches like this.
Mhm.
These matches really help us build more context into the wrestlers that we have, and really um, give more shine to an underappreciated, underrated star like Ron Simmons or Farouk.
Mhm.
And I always enjoyed him with the APA, but this match was worth it, man. I don't even
Yeah.
care if the boots look like really hilarious cowboy boots with the with the RS on the sides and everything, but he looked amazing, man. And yeah, it's this is definitely one of those matches. If you take the time to appreciate it, it's not long. It's only about 12 minutes,
Yeah.
but it's worth it because
Mhm.
each minute you're seeing it. You're seeing his manager. You're seeing Vader's manager attack Ron on the side. You're seeing him get hit into these what's it called, the guardrails, the steel guardrails.
Mhm.
Like, yo, Ron took his beating. He took his bumps. He earned this belt, bro. And then seeing the entire locker room flood in from the back, like. Well, not the entire locker room, but enough of the locker room flooding in from the back, okay, to celebrate with Ron. Like that made this moment all the more surreal for me. And it just, come on, bro. Like Ron took his beating. He made this championship belt worth it. You got Vader landing on him so many times, bro. He literally sat on him, bro. If you let
Mhm.
Vader sit on you, you deserve
That's what
a
I
belt.
was like, bruh. Now, one thing I'll say, right? One thing I'll say, and I guess I'll play devil's advocate with this, right? That was some stiff ass work. That was some, I mean, it was a good match, but it was a match where you had two guys that like working stiff. And when you got two
Yes.
guys that like working stiff and they're both on the same page, they can make magic. But if you would have had anybody else in that match with either one of them guys, they'd have been like, man, I need to go hop in the ice tub right quick, man. That motherfucker beat me up. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was enjoyable, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was like, man, that was some stiff ass work. You know what I mean? And the credit to Ron for, you know what I'm saying, slamming Vader, because I think Vader was like, what, 340, 440, something like that. You know what I mean? He was a big guy. So just the simple fact to slam him, you know what I mean? After he done sat on your chest, like, whew, okay, three-time All-American. I see you, baby. I see you. Colin, what you think about it? Did you think they was working stiff?
Oh hell yeah, they they definitely were working stiff. I mean, my thing though is, I mean, like for example, my favorite thing about Vader, even though he scared the hell out of me, is when he would get you in that corner and he would work on you. He would hit you with those combos, and he was just mauling you like a grizzly bear.
Mhm.
And it was like just perfect, smooth, just combos, but they were just so vicious and so devastating. And I'm looking at it, and every time I look at it, even to this day, 2021, I'm looking at those things and I'm like, you're not faking that. You're not faking those shots. You're gonna eat those shots. There's no way around it. But I remember, Marshall, every time you and I we talked about Vader like a little bit in the past, but we have to say our favorite thing. The very first words out of Vader's mouth was what? I fear no man, I feel no pain.
Feel no pain.
I just sat back and I laughed. I was like, yeah, that's true. But I mean, it was epic storytelling. You're right. Again, this wasn't the 1997 Vader. He was perfect. He was the perfect heel. An indestructible force, just dominant, brutal, monstrous, and just murdering people left and right. He had, I think, that the feud with Sting was earlier on or whatever. I know he had really done some damage to Sting a lot earlier on. I think he had broken his ribs the year before. So this wasn't just like some fluke. Like this was a dominant version of Vader. One of the things I noticed was one of my favorite or underrated moves was for Ron Simmons's one-armed spine buster. So he actually hit that during this match, and I was stunned by that because again, Vader is 150 pounds, but that goes to show you it goes to show you the athleticism and power of Ron Simmons, the three-time All-American. I mean, epic storytelling. Everyone did their part, from Harley Race to Vader to Ron Simmons to JR. This is truly a historical moment in time, and it's my thing is it's everything worked so well for that moment in time. So, say for example, if they had taken some bum ass guy, could have been a black guy, but he was a bum. You needed all those things to work. Like it couldn't just be anybody. You know what I'm saying? It couldn't have just been anybody. It had to be Ron Simmons. It had to be that era, that version of Ron Simmons, that era, that version of Vader. For the moment to really mean something. Because like I said, if they had taken any old dude, and then you go back and you look at that match, it would have been like underwhelming. You know what I'm saying? The air would have been kind of let out of the balloon. Like, oh wow, this is the first black wrestling champion, but the match was garbage. It was a clusterfuck. Oh well. It would be kind of defeating. But the fact that black wrestlers, this generation, the last generation, the next generation, can take that match and go to the WWE network and be like, oh wow, this is a moment in time, and I'm proud to be black, and I'm proud to have witnessed something like that. It's really special.
Yeah, I felt all that. I felt all that, man. Definitely. I want to go around and I want to get everybody's final thoughts on the match. All right, just the match. All right, you want to rank it? Rank it. What was your final thoughts about the match? I'm gonna start with Jay Will.
So, like I said earlier, the match was great storytelling. A lot of highs. I definitely more highs than low moments for me, especially looking at the two different wrestling styles. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being one of the best matches I've ever seen, and one being one of the worst matches I've ever seen. It's a 9 for me. Like it couldn't have been any. There's the only thing that could have honestly been better for me is if there was confetti coming out. Only thing I could have asked for more.
Okay. Quabo.
I definitely agree. I think the only thing that was missing was the confetti. That was probably the last thing that was missing on this.
Okay. And Colin.
9. Definitely.
9. Okay. Yeah. 9 for me too. So the only thing we're missing was the confetti and them hoisting my man up on their shoulders. You know what I mean? That was definitely missing. Y'all should have did that. So speaking of Ron Simmons, and I just said that, I felt like he was underappreciated. So we're going to have ourselves some Ron Simmons appreciation. Show our thanks and appreciation for the man that just comes out and gets a paycheck for saying, dang. You know what I mean? So, gotta go down this guy's list, man. Not only was he the first Black WCW heavyweight champion, all right, not only was he a 3-time All-American defensive lineman from Florida State University, all right, he was also a WCW tag champ with Butch Reed, a WCW US Tag Champ with Big Josh, leader of the Nation of Domination. Y'all remember that. A 3-time WWF Tag Team Champ with Bradshaw, APA, a Hall of Famer in the 2012 class, and also represented the Cleveland Browns from 81 to 82. So it's like, man, this guy has got a hell of a resume. Oh, and did I also let you know, also, he played in the USFL with a guy you might know, Lex Luger, who actually got him into wrestling. So just you guys, man, just tell me, just give me your appreciation for Ron. He's had some great beefs, some great feuds, you know, Rock, Cactus Jack, Dustin Rose, Paul Orndorff, Marcus Bagwell, Sting, Vader. I mean, come on. What's y'all love for Ron Simmons? Jay Will, Flair Country.
So, like I mentioned earlier, my first introduction to Ron Simmons was as Farouk with the Nation of Domination. I specifically remember my first feud watching him was when he feuded with Ahmed Johnson. Now, to me, it didn't seem like a good thing to see black men feuding with one another on TV, but it was also a good thing to see other black men on wrestling, to see them on TV. And it was cool to see it. Like, Farouk, the leader, he seemed like he was the strong, militant black man. He still had the fro. He was still out there talking real good shit. Just like he made people uncomfortable, but that's what strong black men do. Because we that's what we do. And
Right.
like to see the feud, to me, that really, like, granted, Rock really owned it, but Farouk played his part with his feud with The Rock. I mean, it, like, his reactions to Rock doing shit as he was trying to take over the nation, whether it was directly or indirectly. The funniest shit ever when The Rock got the whole nation fucking Rolexes, and then he gave The Rock a picture of himself.
Picture of himself, yeah.
And Ron's reaction to it was perfect. He looks at it, he's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right.
He's looking at it, then he tries to punch a hole in it. Bro, that was classic moment. But again, some of my better moments with him came from when he was with the APA. You know, we had that little what was that called? With well, Undertaker, he was the leader of the group. I can't remember it. Either way, he became the Acolytes. Yeah. What was it called?
Ministry.
Yeah, you go to Ministry.
The Ministry of Darkness. There you
the
go.
Acolytes.
He became an acolyte, part of the Ministry of Darkness. And then when the ministry separated, it was just him and Bradshaw as the acolytes, but they became the Acolytes Protection Agency. My God. When we talk about physical comedy in the WWE, these motherfuckers had a fucking office in the back where it's literally just the door. And if anybody didn't knock on that door or come walk through that door, they would fight them and be like, no, get the fuck out.
Right.
And said they playing poker, drinking beer.
And go back to playing poker after they kick your ass.
Right. Then, like, the funniest moments of like that, they had Crash Holly pay them to protect them from like, they're like, so you're gonna pay us some money, you're gonna pay us some beer, and then they would come out and then they would clean sweep. It would be a tag team match. They would clean sweep. We're talking matches that would be less than 10 minutes. Hell, some of the matches may have been less than 5. And shit like that was enjoyable. Then just getting the damn. Like classic shit. I love Ron. I couldn't imagine watching wrestling in the Attitude Era and not seeing him up there as the APA or as Farouk. It was enjoyable watching
him. Yeah. That was my favorite moment, especially like you said, like seeing him when he premiered. Because I didn't like that bullshit helmet they had on him. He came in beefing with Ahmed. I was like, man, please take that shit off, Funk, man. That ain't looking right. And then, came on and had the nation thing. I was like, yeah, there we go. You know what I'm saying? I can feel this. You know what I mean? But when he got with that APA, it was like, yo, all bets are off. That was like the best and the funniest shit ever. It was like I was watching literally every week to see who was going to come and hire them. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
either who's going to come and hire them or who are they going to fuck up this week? Because the only thing you're looking for, like you said, is that one arm power bomb from Ron and the clothesline from Hell from Bradshaw, and that's all you need, man. They done did their job. Damn, and they done. Cut the check. Cut the
Right.
check.
So even an even funnier moment, had to bring it back. I'm pretty sure it was Trish Stratus. Somebody in the comment section correct me if I'm wrong, but Trish Stratus wanted to hire them, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't have any money," and they're still sitting there just playing poker, and then she literally just takes off her top. And then you see Farouk just staring. He has a cigar in his mouth, and his mouth just drops, and the fucking cigar hits the ground. Bro, that shit was hilarious.
We all said it for him. Damn. I know that's right. Quabo, what are your thoughts on Uncle Ron? Give us your appreciation.
Damn. That's all I'm saying, man. He's hilarious, bro. That's the thing about Ron. He's so good without a belt. You still like you'll watch what's it called? You'll watch SmackDown and you'll see him do this promo and be like, goodness gracious, this was by the highlight of the show. Because seeing them get hired and go just sweep the floor with whoever they were, gonna take out that night. Oh
Mm-hmm.
man, it was amazing. Those are the things that I enjoyed watching with the network at that time, and just the work that they did as the APA for me was enjoyable. They've taken out Hardys, they've taken out Edge and Christian, they've taken out Dudley Boys. They test, and Albert. They had a really good way of creating good feuds and good storylines as the APA. And also seeing the way that they were developed as the Acolytes, having their 2 short reigns with the tag team titles, it's really cool. These are the kind of things that we tend to overlook because they're kind of mid card, but as heels, like they were hilarious to watch, man. And then just seeing the work that they do, now he is a Hall of Famer. That's the thing about Ron is that even with having that stature of Hall of Famer, he still knows how to work with the new guys and doing something so simple as a damn to make that promo memorable is something incredible, but that's the really really cool things that I appreciate about Ron. You get what I'm saying? Um, and I really love it. And that's the thing. I look back and I go back to look on it because, like I said, this is an old school show, and I love rekindling or going back to that era where we really saw them paving the way for the wrestlers of today, and seeing how their storylines, how their feuds, how they created real depth into their characters, and seeing how their characters still are relevant to nowadays. Like you know that if you see him come in and just get a paycheck, like Last Legends night, you were like, yo, even a damn from Ron, that's all I need. That's good for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he gave so much. Like I feel like he gave so much. You know what I mean? He had a couple of title beefs and everything like that, but like he's put in work, man. You know what I mean? Like I totally forgot that he was with ECW for a short time.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that long, but from 94 to 95.
Yeah, just
they
a
did some
year.
work.
Like, oh shit, well, okay. You know what I'm saying? Start off with Jim Crockett down there. Like he's been out there, you know what I mean? So
and then that work with the Nation, by far, it's I don't know how to describe it, but his intensity, even when Ahmed Johnson had to do that turn against Undertaker, like you could see how fierce his smoldering intensity was, and you're like, man, like this is Ron. Like Ron has had so many evolutions that you're like, damn, bro, Farouk is a G. Farouk is a G.
Kick your ass. You see him in the bar, say something wrong. If you want, he gonna give you that work, baby.
Exactly.
I want to go get Mr. PipeBomb started. Colin from DC.
So
Give me your appreciation for Uncle Ron.
oh, definitely. I mean, the first time I saw Ron Simmons was in 1996, and he had came into the WWF as Farouk Assad, and he was dressed like a gladiator with that crazy ass weird helmet. Right,
that foam shit.
Yeah, you know, when Funny was his manager, it was crazy. I didn't know, you know, he was in Doom with Butch Reed. I didn't know he had been in WCW. I didn't know he was a former world champion. All I know was this guy dressed like a gladiator was attacking Ahmed Johnson and beating the shit out of him. And I'm like, why are you doing that? I was really, really confused by that. To Jay Will's point, I think I was confused by why this, you know, this black man was basically attacking the only other black man that was in an important position in the WWE. I was really confused, or sorry, WWF. I was really confused by that because I was like, why, you know, y'all are big and strong. Why can't y'all like work together and become a team and dominate? But that obviously never happened. Fast forward to later on, maybe a year later, he was fighting, Farouk was part of, I guess, leading the nation or whatever. And he was fighting for the WWF title. I think it was around 1997. He was getting ready to fight The Undertaker at, I think, King of the Ring. And he had a promo. He had an interview with Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon was like, you know, what's your problem? What are you so mad about? And I didn't like Vince McMahon's tone, but I was like, okay, whatever. Let's see. Maybe he always does that. He does that to all the heels. So I was like, all right, let's see what he has to say. So he's like, what's your problem? Why are you always so angry? And then basically Farouk said something that kind of changed my perspective on wrestling forever. He asked Vince McMahon, he said, when was the last time a black man held your world title? And Vince McMahon said, never happened before. He was like, all right, well, when was the last time a black man even got a WWF world title shot? And Vince McMahon said, never. That was crazy to me. That's 1997. The WWF had been around for what, 30, 40 years at the time. And the fact that a black man has even received a world title shot, a WWF world title shot, was insane to me. And the joke is, fast forward to, you know, when I found out that Ron Simmons was the WCW world champion, I think it was crazy as hell that I guess a former WCW world champion, the first black wrestling champion, was pointing out to Vince McMahon, the biggest company in the world, a black man has even received a world title shot. So let alone held your top title. So I thought that was crazy. I think that really opened up my eyes to you know, when I was little, I'm just watching wrestling just to watch wrestling. But when I heard that conversation, even though Vince McMahon, I'm sure, wrote it, it made me think to myself, damn, it made me think to myself, like, wow, there really is a racism in the business. And I didn't think I didn't know, but you know, WCW had all that Southern wrestling, Southern racism and this and that, whatever. I'm just thinking, I'm like, wow, this sport that I love, you know, it has some racial undertones, it has some racism that's going on. So I thought that was absolutely crazy. And another crazy thing is, as Ron Simmons is explaining himself, or Farouk is explaining himself, and he's talking and he's passionate about it, all the people in the audience are just booing the hell out of him. And I'm like, he's not saying anything wrong. He's 100% right. He's not saying, you know, fuck all you white people or whatever. He's saying, hey, black people have not, you know, received the same opportunities as white people. What's going on here? Now we're not just going to be like, all right, hey, I'm here, I'm happy to be here, I'm not just smiling. It's time to, you know, we're gonna stop being passive. We're gonna, you know, we're gonna dominate. We're gonna take our place at the table. I thought that's
what the nation was all about too.
Exactly. So me personally, you know, we talk about a lot of couldas and shouldas. Me personally, as a black man, once I heard that whole thing, me personally, even if it was for a day or a month, you can't have that go. You can't unturn that stone and then just leave it how it is. I personally, Farouk should have been world champion. He should have won the title for a day, a month, whatever, a quick little run. Because you don't open up that can of worms and then just leave it. You know what I'm saying? Just leave it like it is. That's a disgusting thing, that a black man hadn't even received a world title shot after 40 years, and it was the first time he was ever getting one. That's crazy. fast forward to obviously again his work with the Nation, his work with the APA. It added to his Hall of Fame career. He was always, always, always doing very interesting things. Quavo and everybody has already said, the thing with the APA that you got a door and you got to knock on that door. If you don't knock on the door, they're gonna whoop your ass. They were playing poker. They always were doing something very, very interesting on the shows. So whenever you saw the APA, it was either going to be something funny or someone was going to get their ass beat. So you always had to kind of keep an eye on them. A testament to the work that he did with Rocky. He really took The Rock to the next level. All of his mannerisms, all of his facial features. Anytime Rocky would disrespect him, he would just be like, what the hell is this? What the fuck is this? And he would always be shocked. That whole thing where, to Jay Will's point about the Rolexes, the rest of the nation got the Rolexes. Meanwhile, he got a portrait of The Rock. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. The funny thing is, there was I think it was like a table for three, and it was Farouk. It was Farouk, the Godfather, and D-Lo, and they were all getting together, and they were talking about their experiences with the Nation. And the funny thing is, even literally, it happened again. The Rock had literally, I guess, table for three, and Rock's a big movie star, he couldn't make it. So Rocky literally sent, he got them new Rolexes, and then he sent another picture, an updated picture of himself. So Rocky's always doing some bullshit. It was hilarious. But last, I've noticed a good amount of established Black wrestlers have looked at Ron Simmons as a mentor to give them advice. Guys like the guys in the Nation, the Godfather, D-Lo, Mark Henry, always talk about how influential he was inside of the ring, but also how he was there for them to make important life decisions. Like he was a mentor. So if something crazy's happening, something big's happening in their life, best believe those boys would come up and talk to Uncle Ron. It really is a testament, and even the New Day and wrestlers today, Keith Lee, Apollo Crews, all speak about Ron Simmons in very, very, very high regard. It's just a testament to show the generational trailblazing path that Ron Simmons had throughout his career, and he was able to basically affect every single Black wrestler that has gone into the business. Big time shout out to Ron Simmons. I like I said, I wouldn't have known anything about him until that montage in 2003. But now, there are not enough words to say about how great Ron Simmons is.
Yeah, as I can't express enough about how much I love Ron Simmons, Farouk, or as I like to call him, Uncle Ron. We got the same last name, so he's ever going to forever be Uncle Ron. Like I said, the only thing I didn't like, I gotta say, but like I say, that foam ass helmet that he wore on his debut. But other than that, man, he's one of those wrestlers where, like I said, he's a stiff worker, but he's one of those stiff workers I can enjoy. There may be some stories out there. We're not wrestlers and we don't be in the locker room. So there might be stories out there, but I haven't heard any. Anybody really have any serious beef with him. So it seems like, he was always down for the program. Whatever's entertaining, hey, let's do it. But at the same time, I'm not gonna look like a fool. Definitely a straight shooter. Love his work with the Nation. Like that work with the Nation, it was like Jay Will said, Black men, hey, we have a voice and we gonna say something, and hey, we're gonna be a problem. And that's exactly what he showed. And so credit to him, it's like everybody that was in the Nation went on to do something. And I think he had a credit to do with that, because whenever you're working with somebody seasoned and a veteran, of course, you want to pick that brain. You know what I mean? You want to try to be the best that you can do in anything that you do. And with Ron having that experience, I'm pretty sure all those guys in that faction picked his brain, from D-Lo to The Rock to Mark to the Godfather, even Owen. You know what I mean? So anybody last thoughts? I'm gonna throw this out there before I get a 3 count. Anybody last thoughts? Final appreciation on Uncle Ron, aka Farouk.
So Farouk. Now, again, some of my better moments were him, where as the APA in the Acolytes, And it's a lot of good tag matches that people tend to overlook with him. I'm thinking about when they had a slight feud with Edge and Christian at one point. They had the APA had a decent little match against with Midian and the Brood. So
Mhm.
appreciate that group too. That was a great group that a lot of people kind of missed that whole conversation about. But like great matches overall, even though they may have been some quick wins, it showed the dominance of them as a character, especially with paired with Bradshaw. That was a very good combination that they were set up as, and it
Mhm.
showed like their strength, their ability, their in-ring ability. That was wonderful at that time. Uh, Ron, like we said, to Colin's point, that Ron was a guy that was willing to help foster talent, and that's
Mhm.
genuinely what it needs to be. At one point, we recognized that he was a WCW champion. He made his accomplishments. He feuded with some really big stars. He
Mhm.
accomplished a lot, and it is a certain point where it's like, hey, I'm going to help this future talent out. Like I mentioned before, and like Colin brought back up, people that were in the nation went and did moved on to bigger and better within their career after the nation, and that speaks on that faction and how Ron could have given all of them the guidance that they needed to
Mhm.
get to the next step, whether it was the Rocky becoming the Rock, the People's Champ. Then we had Rock Henry, the unfortunate name of sexual chocolate. D'Lo Brown, who was a decent wrestler, but we didn't see much work from him. But during the Nation run, but when he was a solo wrestler, when he was doing singles, bro, he put on some really good matches. And let's not forget the Godfather. That was a good time. That was a good time, and
A
it spoke
whole
on how
train.
right, and it spoke and it lets you know that like when you have people in your corner who's going to guide you and talk to you, when you have a person like Ron Simmons in your corner that can give you that insight and that push and that's willing to help be that ladder rung for you to climb up on that ladder to success, it's a wonderful thing.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Anyone else?
by far one of the best moments that I've enjoyed watching have always been with the APA, and seeing Ron come back on the like have them reunite the APA on the 1000th episode of Raw, and doing what he had to do and making it a really momentous moment for the 1000th episode. You can see how Ron is able to really etch his mark on WWE history. And I think that's the really cool thing, that he also is very undervalued, underrated, because he still does the work and continuously does the work. And even when he isn't in tag mode, when he is an individual, he will still take on jobbers and keep it going and hold down the mic and pull in the crowd and do the work to make sure that the WE still makes that product and content for the viewers and for the
Mhm.
fans. And I think that's
Mhm.
the really cool thing, that he does this. I feel like he does this genuinely for the fans. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think that's what we can really gravitate to and appreciate from him. That he still does the work, even if it's that little damn showing up. It's what you needed to see. It's what you needed to hear.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, his mic work. I will say this: mic work wasn't the best. He got by, but that damn was solid. Colin, we'll give you the last word.
The this isn't too much of a big thing, but I just I guess character wise, story wise, if you look at somebody or a stable like Evolution, right? There
Mhm.
was a litany of champions that evolved from that group. And the one thing I'll say again, storyline wise, character wise, the character of Farouk when he was picking the Nation of Domination. I mean, he picked a solid group of guys. Obviously, Rocky ended up being a WWF champion, multiple time WWF champion, Intercontinental champion, tag team champion. D'Lo Brown, I think the first man to hold the Intercontinental and European title. Godfather was Intercontinental champion. Obviously, Owen was there, but Owen had some accolades even before then. So, not a big thing, but again, just to go along with the quote unquote the leadership of Farouk, he didn't pick any bums to be part of any bums to be part of the Nation of Domination. He picked good blue chip talent that they started here in the nation. Remember, Mark Henry wasn't doing a damn thing before he got to the nation. D'Lo Brown was doing a damn thing before he got to the nation. Hell, I'll say it right now. Rocky Maivia wasn't doing a damn thing. He wasn't doing a motherfucking thing with his pineapple haircut. He wasn't doing anything. And then he got there. Farouk touched him. No homo. Farouk brought them. Farouk brought them in, and their careers took off after they went through the transformation of being part of the Nation of Domination. Shout out to Ron Simmons. Shout out to Farouk. Shout out to the nation. Big ups to everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Ron Simmons, we appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Black History Month first. I repeat, the first African-American WCW heavyweight champion of the world. Speaking of the nation, staying with Black History Month. Y'all mentioned this gentleman's name while talking about Uncle Ron, somebody that may have helped mentor him. And we're going to ask, where is he now? We're talking about D'Lo Brown. One thing I liked about D'Lo, man, it's definitely a solid wrestler, great moves. Like that leg drop he used to do, that jump was like, to me, one of my favorite moves from him, as well as, his frog splash. That was a nice, sick move. Man, IC champ, 4-time European champ, TNA, man, Ring of Honor, man, come on, he's been around. And one of my favorite matches, I gotta say, I watched it the other day, was a match with him and Tuco Scorpio. Good match, Tuco Scorpio, another talented wrestler. So you put somebody like him and D'Lo, big athletic guy, doing what he do, man, you got some action, man. So I want to go around. We're gonna talk about D'Lo. You know what I'm saying? We know where he at. Those that's watched and watching that product out there, you know where he at. But we're gonna let you know where he at in a little bit. But everybody, what's your thoughts on D'Lo Brown and where he at now? Start with Jay Will.
So D'Lo Brown was a wrestler that all of us, we saw. For the most part, for us who watched WWF at the time during the Attitude Era and a little before, he wasn't really involved in very many matches. We saw him, of course, jumping out there and, attacking with the interference and whatnot. And yeah, it was cool for a while, but then we actually got to see him in ring. And he came out during some matches and he did that patented head shake. And I remember seeing him talk about the story about how he did it that one time, and he goes backstage and Vince is back there and Vince is like, come here. And D'Lo's scared shitless. He's like, oh God, this is it. I'm about to lose my job. And then he's like, that head shake thing, that's good shit. Do it again. Keep doing it.
And that's it. That's all it takes is one time. If it's like it, you're stuck with it.
Right. And it just goes to show, like we say before, it's the small things that makes a character truly enjoyable. And so he practiced those sorts of mannerisms with the head shake. Like we talked about with just the standing leg drop. It was great showmanship. He did the thing where he would point to the crowd as he's about to do the drop, and then he just suddenly drop on them. He was a huge fan of not taking risks. Taking risks. I'm sorry. He was a fan of taking risks with some moves. He was willing to pull an insecurity. He was a fan of going to the top rope and going high and utilizing the ropes as much as possible. And it was enjoyable. It's on record. I have no problem ever saying it again. D'Lo Brown had one of the most beautiful frog splashes I have ever seen. I mean, it's like you really think about, like, if you ever watch the Olympics when they do their dives and they show like the completion of how like they're able to position their body in a certain way. If you slow down and watch, he flexed his body in such a way where it just landed so perfectly. Then the little period where he was wearing the Kevlar, thinking that this is going to give them some more damage.
Hey, Roman,
Bro,
I know this is an old school show, but Roman stole that idea from D'Lo Brown. Keep going, man.
I'm telling you, solid point, man. I'm trying to tell you. But D'Lo, great guy. Like he was. I listened to interviews with him, and you just hear a guy who truly was like knowledgeable in what he was doing. He understood the makings of the business. He understood how the business is run, and he understood how to put on a good match. He was not a person that you would go out there and, you weren't going to get a Rocky Maivia type of match out of him every time with the extreme showmanship, but he played his role very well. Just a great supporting guy that you could depend on, and he was definitely going to help put on a good match. I think honestly one of my best matches that I remember him from was when he wrestled. It was X-Pac for the European Championship, bro. Two guys that were like who had two totally different wrestling styles, but put on an amazing match. I highly recommend listeners go ahead and look at that. It's Judgment Day 1998. Good, solid match with him. And it speaks, like, watching him work, you have to appreciate the work that he puts into his matches. And he's highly enjoyable. Love the guy.
I know that's right. Colin, what do you think about D'Lo and the bruised sternum and the chest vest with that beautiful frog splash?
Tell you something. I loved that damn chest protector. I forgot what happened to him. I remember the storyline to it, but long story short, he hurt. Obviously he hurt his chest. But I think that basically he was only supposed to like wear it for like a month, and he ended up wearing it for like a year and a half. So he was using it as exactly to put a little extra stank. That low down frog splash. That chest protector would add a little bit more impact. It was nasty. D'Lo really surprised me. He really surprised me. I remember when he first came into the WWF, and he was always getting his ass beat by Stone Cold or Ahmed Johnson. It was like, I remember, I think Ahmed gave him like a Pearl River plunge into a table, disgusting. And then Austin gave him that stunner on the truck. So actually, it's kind of iconic moments in those two career. But he was always getting his ass beat. But when he finally got his chance to get out there and wrestle, he really took advantage of it. He was a really good worker. I think he was the greatest European champion of all time. And I was shocked when he first beat X-Pac, because I'm thinking, X-Pac was on this run. He had a string of great matches. And then I'm like, why is the dude that from the nation who always getting his ass whooped, why is he fighting for the title? But he ended up winning, and he ended up going on a really good run, a couple of really good runs with the European title. His mannerisms were always entertaining. Again, the chest protector that he didn't need to wear, but he wore for a year and a half, was hilarious. His head shake, his little, you better recognize his little catchphrase. Iconic. His signature moves were always were nasty. So that little leg drop with the that little hand gesture with the leg drop. That's an iconic thing for D'Lo. His running power bomb, that was amazing. I thought a power bomb was already crazy, but seeing people do a running power bomb was just unheard of at the time. I thought that was awesome.
But he ended up doing stop using that after
the thing with Jaws. Really unfortunate. And I think
freak accident.
And it happens, unfortunately. But unfortunately for Jaws, it's a thing that changed his career, his life. So it's truly unfortunate, and it's sad that those two are going to be forever linked and forever intertwined, because it was such
friends.
They're great, right? They're friends. They're good friends, but again, it's really sad that they're kind of intertwined in such an unfortunate way. His finishers are always so smooth. The lowdown was right up there with some of the better frog splashes. Jay Will might be right. I mean, the 5-star frog splashes. It's close. It's like 1A and 1B. I love that lowdown. I loved the sky high finishing move. I love sky high. Anytime I used to play those old school wrestling games, my created character always had the sky high. That was the best move to me. I was surprised when he became a double champion. He ended up winning the Intercontinental title to go alongside with the European Championship. I think he beat Jeff Jarrett, but that's a testament to D'Lo Brown because at the time no one had ever done that. So he did something historical. In the history books. The European title was a title at the time taken very seriously, and the fact that he was able to go up to the next level and beat Jarrett and became the Intercontinental Champion, it showed that the WWF and Vince McMahon and the writers had a lot of belief in D'Lo Brown. We had an underrated, I think it was an underrated show a couple of weeks ago, rated in the 90s. I should have put D'Lo Brown was right up there. D'Lo Brown definitely should have been one of the guys we had discussed and talked about. I think he's probably definitely one of the most underrated talents of the last 30 years. But shout out to D'Lo. He, obviously everybody has their place in the business. A certain level, and he's definitely one of the guys that were cogs in the wheel that you could always count on to put on a good match or even say something entertaining or do something entertaining. But big time shout out to D'Lo.
Definitely. No, true story. When I was in the military, it was my supply sergeant. Straight like D'Lo Brown. I talk like, anybody tell you look like D'Lo Brown? I'm like, just shake your head one time for me. Because, I did the D'Lo Brown head shake just like I'm pretty sure all of us did for the longest. And mess with me now, I still might do a little bit just for a little, get a laugh. It's fun to do. Jose, Quavo. Give me your thoughts on D'Lo Brown.
Oh yeah, D'Lo. D'Lo is definitely one of my favorites. Definitely one of my favorites. He just overall has some of the best high flying moves. His finishers are so many in variety. But also his moves, just the way that he performs in the ring, it's definitely enjoyable to watch. Like, I hope Jericho is listening, but I think you need to run back some tapes and look at D'Lo's moonsault, just because yours is lacking, bro. Look at D'Lo's. Look at D'Lo's. That moonsault is nice, but he has a lot of great moves. And over the years, he's been doing a lot of work with Impact, and I would say he kind of damn near built the company. Like, he was the heart of that company, in my opinion, just because he did so many matches, so many good matches, with so many other stars. Like, if you see how he did his matches with AJ, or how he ever did his matches with, really, you got Jarrett, you got his matches against what's it called, Devon. You got him against so many other characters that you know they get over because he is able to elevate their level of play, because he just gives them a good standard. You get what I'm saying? And I think some of his best moves, in my opinion, top two for me, are the running sit out power bomb, which I love seeing that. And I'm still debating between whether or not I want to keep the sky high or the sudden impact, but I'm gonna stick with just the sky high because he's nasty with it. And these are the really cool things that you get to see from D'Lo. Now, if you want to see more of D'Lo, we know where he's at, right, Marshall?
That's right. That is correct, Quavo.
So if
So
you don't
now,
if you don't know, put it in the comment. Trust me, we'll reply. We'll let you know where he's at.
I'm gonna help him out a little bit because, like I say, since it's a product out there that he's currently on, so we definitely want our fans to, give us their input of what they think about where D'Lo is now. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to catch D'Lo Brown now, he is currently on Impact as a producer and commentator. So he's still doing his things, giving back to the business, still helping the young guys, has a security company, so he's still, keeping everybody safe. Doesn't really do the work anymore because he has the sense enough to know that he is old. I'm not making fun. That's just what he said. Okay. So he said, nah, I ain't got no business being up in the ring. I'm old. Quote, end quote. You know what I mean? And I can respect that. Some people need to give it up. But that man, damn it, boy, you are smart. I like the way you do business. And the words of my man Matthew McConaughey, all right, all right. All right, all right. Moving on. We are going to talk about somebody that's name has came up a couple of times today. And it's still Black History Month. So this is another iconic Black wrestler. We're talking about Ahmed Johnson. Y'all remember Ahmed Johnson? You just said, called it out. Rook had his first beef when he came into the WWE wearing that ugly ass helmet. So they're forever linked with that ugly ass helmet. But we're going to talk about what went wrong with Ahmed Johnson. I got a couple ideas. What do you think? We're going to go around, square circle, get everybody's thoughts. What do you think, Colin? What went wrong with Ahmed Johnson?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start out with some positive things because this is gonna get bad real quick. So, so you know, I'll say, I'll be honest. I loved Ahmed Johnson as a kid. As a kid, I thought he was great. Representation matters. Representation matters, guys. Point blank. Period. I love Hulk Hogan. That man looks nothing like me. He looks nothing like me. To me, he was the first Black man in the WWF that could really be taken seriously. You know, sorry to Coco Beware. I appreciate Frankie the Parrot. I appreciate Coco Beware. I appreciate the Birdman. I appreciate King Mabel. He won the King of the Ring, but no one really took those dudes seriously. Ahmed was pushed like a top guy. He had a nasty finisher, the Pearl River Plunge. He had a cool theme song. He had a big year, guys. In 1996, he had a big ass year. PWI, shout out to PWI. They had him ranked number 5 overall out of the top single wrestlers. So out of 500, I guess, best wrestlers of that year, Ahmed Johnson had the 5th best year. That matters. I thought that man was going to be the first Black World Champion that I had ever seen because again, I didn't know about Ron Simmons in 1992. But just like that, the wheels fell off. I didn't mind Ahmed's wrestling when I was a kid, but as an adult, I can say that it was really, really bad. He frequently got injured. The nation was just beating his ass and punging him every week. I don't know what happened, but damn near every one of his matches, I don't know why his tights were always so small, but he would always end up with a wedgie. It was disgusting. He was a terrible talker. It always sounded like he had marbles in his mouth. I remember this. I think there was a potential match with him in Austin, and it was just, I guess he was talking about how he trusted Austin or whatever, and Austin obviously stunned him. And he came out and he was confronting Austin, and my God, I didn't understand one word that came out of his mouth other than "I trusted you, I respected you." Everything else, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. It could have been Japanese. He was the teacher in Charlie Brown. He was the teacher. Womp womp. He was injuring people all the time, and it was just one bad thing after the next. But the one thing I will say, in 1996, he had a split second where he was almost on top. And you know how I am. If I think that there was a place where you can get in, there's a place where you can fit in. So in 1996, I would have maybe tried to fit in a world title reign. I don't know. When I was a kid. Now that I was looking, I'm looking back on it. I'm like,
and you know better.
There's no way I know better now. When you're a kid, you got those rose-colored glasses. You're so innocent. You're so naive. You're like, oh, he's great. I love this guy. And then you're like, you get to being older. You get puberty. Your balls drop a little bit, and you're like, oh, wow. This guy sucks. Oh shit. What was I thinking? But bless his heart. I heard that he's I think he got a job. He got a job working with Booker T and Stevie Ray in their school. So, the one thing I'll say is thank God this wrestling business can be brutal, and there's been a lot of tragedies. So obviously somebody that came so close to, hey, like I said, in my eyes he could have been world champion. You never know how Vince McMahon was thinking back in 1996. He pushed that man to the moon. So you hear a lot of these tragedies, and unfortunate things happen. But shout out to Ahmed Johnson because at least he was able to he didn't just fall off. It wasn't like, okay, I was at the top, I was in the middle of all the spotlight, and then, oh, wait a minute, I just train wrecked out and I'm, I end up in a bad place. At least he was able to kind of pick himself up, hooked himself up with Booker T and Stevie Ray, and still can do things to contribute something positive to the business. I know there's some stories that are a little bit uh, weird about Ahmed Johnson, but nonetheless, it's always good to make sure that people in the business, they still can find something positive for themselves to do. So
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, you done took it back saying that they done linked up and formed Harlem Heat 2000 Part 2 out that thing. So that's what's up with Odd Man. Like you say, really didn't have any mic skills, but he was a big jack dude. And history. He did make history as the first Black man to hold IC gold. 96, King of the Ring. Quabo, what are your thoughts on what went wrong with Odd Man Johnson?
Yeah, I mean it's you can't just say it's one little thing just because it
Mm-hmm.
was like a combination, like Pipe Bomb said. And I think for me, storyline wise, the moment where I kind of like shut off was when what was it? It was the Nation Domination, and they were going against Undertaker, and Ahmed Johnson, and it was just like that moment where we thought he was going to like team up with Undertaker after that match and like dust him off and be like, hey, I got your back, we're good. You just stood over him like to fight the Nation off, and then you see him like turn and betray the Undertaker. So I feel like him as a heel, for me, it kind of didn't work, if that makes sense. And I would have
Mm-hmm.
probably gravitated more to him as a face if he had, teamed up with the Undertaker and gone against the Nation. I don't know, just
Mm-hmm.
out of alternate reality thoughts, right? But
Mm-hmm.
but I think that would have been more believable for me. But seeing as they went the other way, I don't know where it could have gone, but I would have preferred to see it that way. I think that's for me when I kind of like started to shut out. But he's done a lot of work in the business. It's fairly noteworthy, especially knowing that he is a retired professional wrestler, but he was also a football player. And coming in as and taking a good gimmick and running with it, like guy was Black Superman. Come on, bro. Come on. So it's a higher expectation. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Colin said, bro, his mic work needed work, bro, because it was just wah, 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 wah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we expect a lot out of our role models, and sometimes they don't deliver, or sometimes they're told to go in a different way, and we got to kind of just like accept it because that's how the network set up the matches, set up the cards, set up the gimmick. So we just got to run with it. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that ultimately kind of like stopped his momentum, in my opinion. But that's what I think.
Okay. I hear you. I mean, look, unlike Uncle Ron with man, we got stories out there. Like if I was in the locker room, I don't know. But was he hard to work with? Did he have beef with people? Did he trust the wrong people? He came in and I believe he was teaming with Sean for a couple, what I'm saying? They was really trying to push him. And word is Sean was hating on him as Sean does, you know. Jay Will, what do you think about that? Do you think Ahmed trusted the wrong people? Like what went wrong with Ahmed?
So, as we know now with history, we hear a lot of insight and retrospective to wrestlers and their accomplishments, but you find things that have gone wrong with them. And Ahmed was one of the guys where you found out a lot of things that was going on backstage that you were just like, really? And you're kind of disappointed from things that you've heard. So let me just go into the positives of things that I enjoyed about him.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmed was a Black man in wrestling. We didn't have too many. We had the Nation, of course, but we saw Ahmed Johnson, who had the look. He had the physical look of someone that could honestly be a true champion. At the time, of course, I'm a kid and I don't understand the need for mic work. I'm thinking, oh, it's all about your in-ring ability. And honestly, as a kid watching that in-ring stuff, I was amazed. I was like, oh, I like this guy. Like, someone you can go on to enjoy. Like Colin said, representation matters. But in my adulthood, going back and watching matches with him, there's moments where I'm just like, yeah, this is sloppy. This is messy. Again,
He liked working stiff. He's quoted in saying that he liked working stiff.
right. And it's like if you're going to work stiff, you gotta be able to tell the story along with the match. It's not going to work that way all the time. And Ahmed again, first black IC champion.
Mm-hmm.
Great, like enjoyed the matches as I was younger. Now, not so much. We know we find out him and D'Lo Brown got into it in the back. From D'Lo's words himself, they got into it in the back and they got the tussling. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of interesting to hear that sort of thing happen when you hear D'Lo Brown talking. You're just like, wait, someone fought you? Of all people? Like,
and you know what's crazy? It's like a list. Like you got D-Lo, you got The Rock, you got Stone Cold, you got Ron. It's like who didn't you know what I'm saying, try to fight in the back, dude? Like, damn.
Right. It's like, bro, did you just where are you going and where did you think you were going to go? Like with a terrible attitude, and then you have moves that can genuinely hurt someone in the ring. There's of course stuff out there about him injuring people. It's like, bro, it makes you hard to work with in that sense. And I think he the old phrase that like with Bret Hart, they said Bret screwed Bret. I think Ahmed screwed himself over, but I will say that it was enjoyable to watch him, period, back in the day. I don't think that I won't let some of the stuff that was said about him going on backstage depreciate what I enjoyed from him in the ring when I was younger. I look at his matches now with the glasses of nostalgia. I can sit back and say, these were some good matches as a kid. Now, and we all just also have to ask the eternal question: why the fuck did he always have a wedgie? That shit didn't make any sense. Like it was like, bruh. And hold on, we talked last week about the Rumble and how he came out. He got thrown out of the ring. I mean, yeah, he got thrown out of the ring, and he decided to attack someone that was running into the ring, and then just kept running. It's like, bro, this wasn't even funny. This wasn't even cool to watch.
And they got pushed by the Godfather when he came out. Like, the fuck are you doing?
And you didn't retaliate, like,
right?
It's like, all right, bro. You know what? Just go ahead and go backstage. Call this it.
Oh man, like, yeah, I gotta play devil's advocate. That was that bullshit. What was the picture? It was some pictures that came out. I was like, what in the fuck? Nah, man, fuck that shit. My man, you supposed to be hardcore out here, man. What the hell are you doing, man? Making us look bad. Right. But with D-Lo, not D-Lo, but Ahmed, excuse me, it was, man. Well, yeah, with their tussle, it's like you said, Jay, like D'Lo Brown is probably one of the nicest guys out there. So for him to get into it with somebody like that, yeah, come on, Ahmed. And that's my thing. You got to be able to get along with your coworkers, because during that time, we know who was running shit backstage. Sean. And if you rub Sean the wrong way, what was he doing? Oh, this person, that person. But I digress. We're going to leave that alone. And we're going to go on to our next topic. Are you ready, guys? I said, ready, guys.
Oh,
bring it.
It's time for One Gotta Go. All right. Explain the rules to you. When we say one gotta go, we say one gotta go. All their work gotta go. All right. Y'all got y'all pens? Y'all ready?
Yeah, man. Let's see what you got this time.
All right, here we go. Team number 1, the Rockers. Team number 2, Steiner Brothers. Team number 3, Legion of Doom. And team number 4, Harlem Heat. All right, so those are the 4 picks for one gotta go. And remember, when I say one gotta go, the team goes and all their work goes. All right, all of their work. That means if you pick the Rockers, Shawn Michaels is gone. Marty Jannetty is gone. The kick heard around the world is gone. No more sexy boy. No more crybaby shit. None of that. All right. Going with the lottery pick. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Who get the first one? Who get the first one? And we got Jay Will. Give me what you got. Which one?
Wait. Okay. Hold on. I got to get this right. So you're telling me if I get rid of the Rockers, I lose that super kick heard around the world. I lose
super kick heard around the world.
I lose DX.
You lose DX.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's
because do we really have
Rockers.
DX without Shawn Michaels? Think about that.
No. Oh, okay. So we have Harlem Heat, the Steiner Brothers, the Legion of Doom, and the Rockers. All 4 great tag teams. Okay. You know what? I got it. The Steiner Brothers, I can get the fuck out of here.
You getting rid of Steiner, so no more suplexes? No more of my kindest motherfuckers getting dropped on their head.
They can get the fuck. Let me just say, don't get me wrong when I say this, when I get rid of them. I like the Steiner Brothers. When I was watching WCW, they were a part of that era that I really got into wrestling. But I can totally get rid of Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, holla if you hear me. Like
the big bad booty daddy.
I can 100% get rid of that for the rest of my life. I'm perfectly okay. And here's why I say this. The moment that he came and stepped foot into the WWE, that's when I knew that I solidified I did not like him as a wrestler, as a character, as a person. I'm good. He can go.
Okay. Moving on next. Lottery pick. Which one we got? Quabo. Which one? Gotta go.
Oh, okay. So the choices are tough as always. We always make these tough. That's what I love about this. You got Harlem Heat, Steiner Brothers, Legion of D, and the Rockers.
Which one gotta go?
Well, the good thing is that I'm not extremely emotionally attached to any of them.
Oh man,
but,
I ain't got no luchas in there. You're an asshole.
But the ones that I'm definitely gonna keep, definitely Harlem Heat, definitely keep the Rockers. So one's gotta go, and we're trying to figure out who's it gonna be.
Steiner Brothers or LOD, man. Come on, man. Don't take all day, man. Come on, I got shit to do.
All right, it's gonna be the Steiner Brothers. Let them. We can get rid of them. I can let them.
I didn't mean to rush you now. I don't mean to rush. I just was shit.
I can live with
that. You can live without the Steiners.
I can live.
No more big bad booty daddy for you.
I can live without the pump.
No more holla if you hear me.
Man, I'm good.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, I got to keep the rest, man. I got to keep the rest. I can't get rid of LOD. I can't get rid of LOD.
Okay. All right, okay. Last. I ain't gonna say last. Next, we'll say. Mr. PipeBomb, Colin from DC. You sticking in line with these guys or you got something different? What you got? Who gotta go? One gotta go. And who is it gonna be?
I definitely got something different.
Okay.
These clowns don't know what they're talking about. It's tough, right? So first we got the Rockers, and as we talked about just a bunch of shit today, Farouk and Vader, Ron Simmons and Vader, and how stiff they work, and then we can't. We know there's certain wrestlers they wouldn't be able to do that. Then you got Ahmed Johnson and Sean, not liking him and trying to sabotage him. And then I know last week we talked about Sean sabotaging Vader and this and that. So as As the show has been going on, I'm progressively getting angrier and angrier with Shawn Michaels. Getting angrier and angrier with Shawn Michaels. Like, to the point where I'm like, fuck Degeneration X, fuck all that shit. Fuck the Hell in the Cells. So I don't care with Matt. It just started to really bother me. But I'm going to compartmentalize my anger and just hold it in and be professional, because this is a professional show. So the Rockers can advance. Congratulations, Marty Jannetty. You came along for the ride. That's fine. You got the Steiner brothers. I always thought their tag team matches were great. I loved the Frankensteiner as an 8-year-old. I thought the Steiner brothers could do no wrong. You know, Scott goes on. He's a big bad booty daddy. You know, he has that ridiculous promo in TNA with, if you take 50% of this and 23%, and there's a three-way of this. That's the greatest math I've ever heard in my entire life. You can't get rid of Scott. You can't get rid of the Steiner brothers just because you wouldn't have that all-time promo. That's my favorite of all time. It's even better than Mark Henry's Pink Salmon retirement promo.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, like I said, the Steiner brothers. I love the Steiner brothers. I think the Steiner brothers are top 3 tag teams of all time. They changed tag team wrestling. So now it's down to Harlem Heat and LOD. I love the Legion of Doom. I love them. But I did not like when you go against somebody like LOD versus a team like the Steiner brothers would sell. They beat the shit out of people and they almost break their necks, but it would be a competitive match. LOD, more times than not, they're dominating 90% of that match, unless they're going against a big time big time tag team. They're dominating 90% of the match. I do understand the historical LOD pop, the Legion of Doom pop, the Road Warrior pop, or whatever. That's a historical thing. But I can't get rid of Harlem Heat. I just can't. I cannot get rid of Harlem Heat. I just can't. So Legion of Doom is my pick for the reasons because of what Booker T represented. Booker T represented a lot. Booker T and Stevie Ray, they represented a lot to as black as representation, black excellence, for what this generation is all about. And if you kill off Harlem Heat, then you're taking away an entire, probably the best generation of black wrestlers there is. So I can't do that. So it's got to be Legion of Doom. Steiner brothers were a better tag team than Legion of Doom. So by process of elimination, LOD's got to go.
Okay. For me, you know what, Kyle? Like I said last week, damn it, boy, I like the way you do it. You know what I mean? Because it was a process of elimination. Like Harlem Heat for me definitely had to stay. Like, because I gotta have King Booker. King Booker. Like, come on. And then Booker T commentating his own beatdown. Oh my God. Oh, King Booker, stomp in the mud. That was like the funniest shit. So I gotta keep Harlem Heat. You know what I'm saying? And him and his brother made me really love wrestling because I got a brother. You know what I mean? So to see them on TV, I looked at me and my brother, we Harlem Heat, and we came up with our name, you know what I'm saying, the BOD, so they got to stay. The Rockers, got to keep the Rockers for the simple, kick around the world and everything, Sean's, prick and everything like that. So it came down to, for me, the Steiners and LOD. And for me, like I love Scott Steiner, the big bad booty daddy. His promos are some of the most iconic shit ever. Like you could go and watch, some of his best shit, even though sometimes, he's talking out of his ass, it's still hilarious. LOD, like the best thing, I had to eliminate them. They got to go because, I could do without the spikes. I could do without Water Rush. So LOD, you gotta go. So now we know who's picks.
Wait, hold on. You guys are really going to sit here and get rid of the Legion of Doom when the Legion of Doom, legendary wrestlers.
Legendary.
Bro, you cannot sit here and tell me hearing that did not make you get hyped. You knew when they were coming out, they at least did 2 lines of coke before coming out. There's no way you can tell me you didn't get excited by hearing that come out there. And dude, granted, they they epitomized what tag team wrestling was for the WWF, even for the industry. I'll give you guys your credit. I will say the Steiners had some amazing matches together. However, solo Are you really going to tell me that you enjoyed a Rick Steiner solo match after that? You can sit here and tell me that you were excited about a Rick Steiner match?
Not Rick, but Scott.
Okay.
Wait, whoa.
Came out with the big bad booty daddy, dog. I was done. Yeah.
We didn't. Go ahead, Colin.
Well, just I didn't mean to cut you off. Just real quick, Jay. What's your favorite Hawk and/or Animal singles match? I'll wait.
Fair.
Thanks.
However, I'd rather have no bad. I'd rather have. I'd rather sit through no Hog or Animal singles matches than sit through a Rick Steiner match by itself. The best thing about the Steiner brothers was Scott's promos afterwards. I can totally go without watching him ever wrestle again. I'm totally fine with that. And let's not sit here and take this disrespect to Legion of Doom after we no longer have
Tell
one
me a
of
good
them.
LOD promo.
So y'all gonna sit here and do this sort of stuff when someone's passed away? Oh, y'all terrible. Y'all going to hell. That's what it is.
RIP to him, but tell me a good LOD promo.
I got nothing.
Exactly. Well, Scott, come on, man. We got entertained. That is the whole purpose of this business, is to entertain. LOD, what was entertaining, like you said, was their entrance. Yeah, the entrance got you hyped. The spice got you hyped. But then after that shit, I was looking for the finisher. You know what I mean? Colin, you got my back on this?
Oh yeah, I mean 100%. The funny thing about Jay Will tells on himself. He tells on himself with his hatred of Scott Steiner. He's just jealous of Scott Steiner because he could never be a genetic freak like Scott Steiner. That's why.
I have all these freaks.
He's all through Medeja, his freaks and his peaks. He's jealous of him. But let me tell you something. Scott, Jay again talks about Scott like in 2002. Okay, yeah, in 2002. Where was the Legion of Doom in 2002? You can't really say Legion of Doom looked great. They didn't have great promos, but it was kind of interesting, with Hawk with his and then he would just say something, some type of gibberish. That's all good and well. Then obviously what Marshall just said. You want to get to the Doomsday device. However, the Steiner brothers had excellent tag team matches, and then Scott by himself still had great promos, and he was going to obviously always say something psychotic, and then I take that back, not great promos, entertaining promos. Entertaining promos, because he would either say something psychotic that would kind of like just be like, what the hell's going on? But Rick was not a bad singles competitor. Way back in WCW, he had a couple of good matches. But the problem is Hawk and Animal were limited. Basically, guys, we just watched Royal Rumble 1998. That was the end of the Legion of Doom. Basically, they had a little quick run back, I think at the 99 WrestleMania, where I think they became number one contenders for the tag team title, but then they're out of there like 2 seconds later again. So you got to go with Scott. You got to go with the Steiner brothers over the LOD.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree with you, and it's definitely Steiner brothers, not LOD. Get it right, Bottle Rocket. Get it right. Come on, man. Why would you want to get rid of Steiner, who literally talks just like Animal, literally talks just like fucking Hawk, bro? Like, they both sound the same on the mic. And the worst part is that Steiner, we can obviously tell he doesn't know how to keep his lines, because they obviously set up the math right and gave him the numbers, but he's over here trying to formulate math equations that don't even make sense, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man, bro. And that's what you're using as your cornerstone, that he had a great, hilarious promo of bad math? Come on, man. No. I don't even want this belt. I don't even want the belt for this segment or this match, bro. I don't care who gets it, but definitely don't get rid of LOD, man. Get rid of the Steiners, man.
So no. Here's my thing. If you really want to sit here and make a valid comparison, I dare you. Take yourself to Wikipedia and look at the list of accomplishments the Road Warriors have versus what the Steiners have. You really want to sit here and tell me that you're going to get rid of the Legion of Doom versus the Steiner brothers with the total list of accomplishments that overshadowed by a long shot. Ask yourself this: what Hall of Fame are the Steiner brothers in? Hmm. Hmm.
Facts.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
I'll
I'm
wait.
just
Hold on.
saying.
Let's wait.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Oh wait,
Here's
am
the
I
thing.
talking? I
Because
can
of,
talk. I can talk. Oh, okay. Sorry, you're really asking that question. They don't want to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. They think it's bullshit. That they don't want to. They've been asked. They got the WWE were rejected by the Steiner brothers. So sorry, that doesn't apply, guys. And by the way, Scott Steiner is a million times better promo than either Hawk or Animal. So I don't know what the fuck Jose is talking about. I don't know what Quabo's talking about. Hell yes, Scott Steiner doing bad math is a million times better than Hawk or Animal. Anything that Hawk and Animal's ever said. So you can kick rocks right down the street with that bullshit. Again, the last thing y'all got, well, the last time we saw the Legion of Doom was in 2000, and they were fucking trash. Y'all gotta get Quavo. You don't have to give me the title. You don't even have to give me the title. It's candy taken from a baby. This is nothing, y'all. This is not great. It's clearly the Legion of Doom has to go.
gotta go.
No. So let's stop for a
Mhm.
second. Not even the Hall of Fame from the WWE. What the Legion of Doom has the Quebec Wrestling Hall of Fame, Super World Sports Tag Team Tournament champions. Let's see, Best Foreign Award in Tokyo Sports. Let's talk about Wrestling Observers. All these awards in the 80s that have shown to prove them to be one of the best tag team champions ever. NWA Hall of Fame. You're really going to sit here and put fucking Steiner Brothers over the Legion of Doom?
Yep, that's what we're gonna do.
Matter of fact, I'll put that in the comment section. Y'all let these fools know what's up. Y'all let them know what's up, man.
Hey, this how we're gonna do it. This how we're gonna do it. Steiner Brothers over LOD. Fight me. I got the last word. Like Jay Will said, you got a problem with it? Put in the comments. I don't give a fuck. Put in the comments. I want to hear from you. And with that being said, that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Damn, I had a good time today. Y'all fellas had a good time today?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. This was
Always,
good.
always.
Hey,
Comments
don't be
about to
mad,
blow
Jay,
up, man. I can feel it.
Look. I've been checking out them ladies over there on facts. So, I'm just dropping my opinion, you know what I'm saying? And I'm dropping them facts, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, fight me. But make sure.
Marshall, here's a fact. J. Will is jealous of Scott Steiner. He's jealous of that.
He's jealous of the big bad booty daddy. The man with the peaks with all the freaks. But make sure y'all check out my ladies over in Facts, 613 Faye Production Show every Friday morning. These lovely women are talking politics, relationships, life, and entertainment. And don't forget to check out, you know what I'm saying, Colin, Mr. PipeBomb, and Jay Will's best friends, Tone and Cash, Gaming Pad Podcast, Thursdays at 11 on 613 Faye on YouTube. Everything gaming, baby, and I mean everything. Y'all fellas been practicing? Jay Will, Colin, y'all been practicing?
It's not hard to practice at Dr. Mario.
Yeah. These nerds aren't we're not afraid of them. Sorry.
Yeah, come on now. These guys still live
Jose.
behind click-clacking controls, bro. We live these real lives. What you talking about?
Oh,
You don't want to see me on the sticks.
Oh shit! Look, I'm gonna make sure I get my due. Say, I'm gonna have my little refreshments. I'm gonna sit back. I'm just gonna watch. I'm betting on it. You know what I mean? That's what's going down. We'd like to thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is a 613 Faye production. I am your host, Marshall, Mr. Soul Simmons. And you can catch 613 Faye on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and once again, YouTube. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And like we always say, lead us to the professionals. Don't try this at home. And we out.